Golden Age of piracy took place between the 1620s and the 1730s in the West Indies and all over the Caribbean. It's called the Golden Age of piracy for two reasons. One, pirates were primarily taking gold from Spanish ships, however attacking English ships were also very common. Two, it is also recognized as the best time to be a pirate. This was the best time for pirating because Spain has conquered the Incan Empire and taken most of their gold. Many pirates wanted a bit of that gold and were willing to attack Spanish ships for it. This worked to England's favor as they were in a war with the Spanish for control in the New World. The English would issue letters of marque, allowing the pirates to attack Spanish ships and not be harassed by the English government. These pirates were called privateers. However, after the England didn't need the help of the pirates anymore, they went and arrested them. The pirates' punishment would usually be death by hanging. After the Golden Age of piracy ended, many people made myths about them. They told tales of the adventures they went on. These tales over-romanticized the pirates, polluting our view of them because they made pirates appear as if there was little risk involved. They made them appear successful and as heroes. In many piracy movies, piracy just seems like it is easy and there's very little risk involved. I'll start with Long John Silver. If you see in this picture, he survived losing his leg in battle. This is the origins of the popular myths about peg leg. However, surviving and losing a leg was very rare. The theory was to amputate the leg so infections wouldn't travel to the rest of the body. However, the trauma of losing a leg was so heavy that pirates would usually die from blood loss. If they would survive, there is no way that pirates would be able to continue pirating or fight nearly as well as Long John does. To make piracy appear like there is little risk involved, because Long John is still able to pirate without his leg, and even fight pretty well. However, piracy could ruin someone's life if they lost a leg because they would either die or not be able to work. In Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, Jack Sparrow is able to escape the threats very easily. At the beginning of the movie, Captain Jack Sparrow encounters two guards and straight up tells them that he is stealing the ship.
Smith! Oh, Smithy, if you like. What's your purpose in Port Royal, Mr. Smith? Yeah, and no lies!
All right then. I confess. It is my intention to commandeer one of these ships, pick up a crew and Tortuga, raid, pillage, plunder, and otherwise pilfer my Weasley black guts out.
Yeah, instead of calling other guards, they just stand there. When Jack gets caught, he is able to use seemingly impossible series of ropes to get away. This continues for the entire movie, where he escapes getting marooned, getting caught by other pirates, and even getting hung. The only other pirates in the movies are the crew of the Black Pearl. They are ghosts and cannot die. This makes us believe that all pirates were invincible, and that there was no risk involved in becoming a pirate. Of course, in the real world, the government would have cracked down on pirates and probably hired better guards. The crew of the Black Pearl makes Jack Sparrow walk the plank. This is completely inaccurate because of what real pirates would do. They would probably just kill him and get on with their day. There's no factual evidence in walking the plank, and it all around just doesn't make sense that pirates would do this, especially because they know Jack escaped the island before. There is no reason for them to keep Jack alive. This movie presents pirates as invincible, which pollutes our view of pirates because it makes pirate life appear easy when in fact it is very dangerous. The government would hunt down pirates and usually hang them. There were many storms at sea that could sink ships. From all my research, I was only able to find one pirate successful enough to retire, but I'll get to that later. Common counter-argument to this would be that Jack got arrested and went to jail. He almost got hung, which is very realistic, and many pirates would get hung. But Jack makes escape all dangers he is put in, so he is shown as almost invincible. Many people who watch the movie would believe that they could be like Jack and be invincible and survive everything bad that could happen, which pollutes our view of pirates. Pirate myth, pirates appear successful. In Treasure Island, after Captain Smollett and the rest of his crew reach Treasure Island and take all the treasure, they eventually retire. They move to England and live out the rest of their life with all their riches. However, retirement was a very distant goal for most pirates. Most people would consider the most successful pirate Bartholomew Roberts or Black Bart. He plundered over 400 ships and made loads of gold. However, Captain Chancellor Ogle attacked Black Bart while he was celebrating and killed him in battle. Edward Teach, or Blackbeard, the most infamous pirate, was killed by the government even though he was about to retire. Benjamin Hornigold got in a huge shipwreck. Charles Vane was in a huge shipwreck, but he was rescued by a privateer and then put on trial and hung. The only pirate that I know of successful enough to retire was Henry Eby. He plundered the ship the Ganges Swan and plundered over 600,000 pounds of gold. Each pirate received 1,000 pounds, which was considered 80 years of seaman's pay. He bribed a lot of officials and sailed to Ireland, where no one ever heard of him again. Henry Eby is the exception to the rule that pirates do not retire. However, the way movies and books display pirates makes it seem like a good idea for people to become a pirate and gain some cash and go into an early retirement. In pirate lore, pirates have usually been presented as heroes, even though in real life pirates would do all kinds of awful things to follow their own interests. In Pirates of the Caribbean, the first thing we see of Jack Sparrow is his attempts to save Elizabeth from drowning. There is no reason Jack would do this, as his plan was to steal a ship. After saving Elizabeth, he gets thrown in jail, so there was no real reason that Jack should have done that. At the end of the movie, after Jack escapes from being hung, the government doesn't go after him because he quote-unquote is a good man. For most pirates, it is hard to argue that they are good men. Blackbeard, for example, shot a man on his crew for no reason other than to intimidate others. Most pirates use a form of torture called wolding. Wolding is the use of a rope and a circular log. The rope would be tied to the log, and then the log would be spun around in circles. The rope would also be tied to the victim's head until their eyes popped out of their skull. Pirates did this for three main reasons: intimidation, find the location of valuables from others who know about it, and as a means of revenge against authority figures. Jack is an extremely gentle pirate and an extremely heroic pirate, which makes us believe that even if you were a pirate, you could still do heroic things. In the movie Long John Silver, Long John is also presented as a hero. And the first thing Long John does in the movie is rescue the governor's daughter, Elizabeth. Are you noticing the parallels in the two movies? The way other characters treat him really shows how he is presented as a hero. For example, the young kid, Jim Hawkins, really looks up to him. He helps him in battle when he's hurt, and even turns down a trip to England so that he can pirate with Long John. After Long John returns from rescuing Elizabeth, most of the citizens treat him as a respected citizen, even though most of them know of his history with piracy. The governor himself is the worst example of this. He got all of his belongings stolen by pirates, but yet he still trusts Long John. Anyone who was ever on a ship during this time knows of the huge fear of piracy. They could be attacked and have had all their belongings stolen or even killed. When I described torture, I said most pirates use this torture as a way of intimidating others. It worked, and most were intimidated by pirates, so there is no way that most citizens would look up to Long John with the respect that he gets. Another good counter-argument about this is, why should I care? They're just movies, they're just having fun. It's not a big deal if there's a little inaccuracy here or there. I am not trying to say that pirate lore is not interesting. I most certainly am not saying that Pirates of the Caribbean is not a good movie. I definitely am not saying that Treasure Island was not a good book. What I'm saying, however, is that how media treats certain events of history has a great effect on how we feel about those certain events. Captain Phillips, for example, takes a much more serious and scary look at Somali pirates. It makes us feel that Somali piracy is horrible and should be fought. While the movies and books I've discussed shows that pirates in the golden age of piracy were good. Media tells us how to feel about certain aspects of life, and media makes us feel that piracy from the golden age had little risk involved, pirates could retire, and pirates were good men.